Hi everybody, I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture.
And I'm Phil Chambers, hi.
Hi, we're going to do some news, some after news. I understand these things are a little bit more ramshackle than stuff. So here are the stories that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Jake the Snake Roberts and how AEW signed the guy, and I've also got a correction for last week's WWE Backstage viewership.
Exciting stuff. I've got the PWI Wrestler of the Decade has been revealed. The real reason that Kenny Omega and Nick Jackson weren't on AEW Dynamite this week. And how Goldberg really feels about his current WWE run.
Hey, we just redefined the introduction game for 2020. Do you say this is the news? I've done one of these before. Why am I asking these questions?
Hashtag good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Anyway, we're going to start by talking about Lana and Rusev and Bobby Lashley and what they're doing in WWE at the moment.
What are they doing in WWE at the moment?
Well, Philip, let me tell you. The Love Square storyline seems to be over. Lana, according to Dave Meltzer in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, out today, has been taken off WWE television because she is away filming a movie with Bruce Willis. She's going to be gone for a few weeks. Bobby Lashley may be in a similar boat. Dave writes
he's in a movie with Bruce Willis too.
It could be, who knows? He's not going to be around. I think he's doing one with Arnie, actually. He's not going to be on TV potentially for a while either. He was kept off TV this week because Lana's not there and they're an act together at the moment. Rusev, meanwhile, interestingly, was at TV this week, but the company opted not to use him. That's pretty notable because he's been in either contract disputes or he's injured, depending on who the hell you want to believe. So all of these people might not be seen for a little while yet. Lana was last seen at Super Showdown when she turned up on top of the ramp, dressed in every item of clothing ever, kind of stood there for a second and then went back to the backstage area. Good work if you can get it.
Yep, definitely worth the flight.
yeah, good grief almighty. But there we have it. She won't be around for a while, filming a film movie with Bruce.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's thrilling, isn't it?
Next up, the PWI have revealed their Wrestler of the Decade. And I believe we have a picture of the cover that Ben Roy will put up. Here it is,
Hopefully.
It's AJ Styles! And he's holding his little trophy. Good for him, I'd say. Obviously, he's had a pretty amazing decade. It's hard to disagree with that as a choice. Obviously, a huge player in TNA and Impact Wrestling until 2013, I think it was. And then he moved to New Japan, co-leader of the Bullet Club, beat Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I think he won it twice while he was there. And then obviously went to WWE, huge Royal Rumble moment, ended up being the WWE champion before the year was out. It's like a hell of a decade, so many accolades, and along the way just putting on match after match of just brilliant 5-star stuff. Yeah, hard to argue.
Pretty impossible to argue, I think. Like, a lot of people might throw some other names around. Daniel Bryan, but he was on the sidelines for a long time.
He was, yeah. I think personally, like, if I was picking my personal wrestler of the decade, I'd probably go with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, if it comes down to a taste issue and stuff, I could argue Toru Yano if I wanted. Yano, sorry, I totally butchered that. But no, AJ, like, it's such an easy choice, I think, because he's never had, like, a long period on the sidelines.
Yeah.
He's been consistent in top guy, a top draw in TNA and New Japan. I think he won the New Japan IWGP World Title in his first match back as well. It's crazy stuff.
Did he go back to Ring of Honor when he left Impact as well?
He did, yeah.
So
he was
one decade, 4 major companies.
Yeah, top guy in all of them, top champion in most of them. I can't remember if he was Ring of Honor World Champion in that period, but I digress. Comes to WWE in 2016, finally after all these years, awesome Rumble show up, world champion by the end of the year, proves that he can be the big dog in the biggest company in the game. It's so simple. Imagine arguing this, man. Imagine like getting really fired up and going, no, it's Shinsuke Nakamura. It won't be, but you know.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, great stuff. And speaking of good stuff, Jake the Snake, he's back. He's on TV. He was on Dynamite this week. He cut a crazy promo on Cody. It was wild.
Brilliant. That turn your back on him line was so good.
Yeah, and then he just flips the microphone over his head and Cody catches it. It was really good stuff. The guy is he's still got that same presence, that same aura. The voice is a little bit different now, but he can still cut a killer promo as we saw on Dynamite. And Dave, in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, we just call him Dave now, we're on those kind of terms, the real observer of wrestling. He has been speaking a little bit about this. He had a whole write-up in the Observer this week, actually. And he said, as part of this, that it's very likely that the man behind Jake going to AEW was Diamond Dallas Page. This makes a lot of sense. DDP very close with Cody, been on AEW TV quite a bit.
Yep. DDP Yoga the reason that Jake the Snake can walk around
Exactly. Exactly. Jake credits DDP with saving his life. So an instrumental figure in Jake getting clean and just becoming healthy, basically, and so forth. So this is really good to hear, because Dave's right up. He notes like all the problems the Jake has experienced in his life, and you know, for like decades booking him, everyone who booked him ended up getting themselves burned. But there hasn't been any reports of any kind of negativity surrounding Jake's personal life over the past few years since he hooked up with DDP. DDP once again proving himself one of the all-time good guys in pro wrestling, and yeah, Jake's back, man. That's just awesome.
It's brilliant. It's great to see as well, because obviously, like, he's been in interviews and stuff where he's talking about, like, he wanted to come back in WWE, like, he wanted to sort of vaguely regain the former glory just to prove to himself that, like, he'd gotten over it, he'd got past his demons, and he's moving on with his life, and he's recovered. But, like, this, it's almost better in a way, because whatever he would have done in WWE, it probably would have been, like, a one-off, like, show up, like, huge pop, that's great, like, Jake's back, fantastic. But this, like, if he can actually be a featured player and like give something back to the industry and give that sort of incredible decades of like wrestling knowledge and that like incredible brain that he's got, give that to some of the younger guys in AEW, this could be absolutely fantastic.
And he's going to be managing someone as well.
Yeah.
So cool. Can't wait to find out who that. It's probably Lance or Brody Lee, right? One of them.
Either or. I am fully on board with this.
Why not both? Hell yeah. Let's go.
Good stuff. Finally from me, Goldberg has commented he's been on WWE's The Bump.
Wow.
The greatest source of wrestling news.
Didn't know what that was until a month ago.
All the scoops coming from The Bump. I've got some quotes from it. I'm going to read them out so I don't butcher them completely. He was talking about how much this current run means to him and just being back in WWE. And he was saying that we all know that you've got to push the younger talent, but he owes the wrestling business and he wouldn't mind putting over the younger guys if that's what they were after. I think that being the biggest takeaway from this.
It's not what they're after, brother.
It's definitely not what they were after, obviously, because he just wants him to be Goldberg and be the Universal Championship and sell a bunch of WrestleMania tickets. He went on talking about whether his effort in matches and training at the minute is, and he just says that hopefully it's still enough. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is he's there to do a job, and the job is whatever WWE tell him to do. And you can't argue with that. If someone came to you and said, want to be Universal Champion for a couple of months and like be one of the headline matches of Mania, you'd be like, yes please, okay.
You're not going to sit there and go,
oh no, you know what, I'd rather put over Curtis Axel.
Like, you're not going to sit there and go, oh well, Reddit won't like this, I better not do that. No, absolutely, man. Like, I know everyone's like, ooh, Goldberg won the title and all this stuff, but it's not Bill's fault, man. Bill, by all accounts, a lovely guy behind the scenes.
Of course, and so long as they keep booking him in the shorter matches that are like fast, like just bam, bam, spear, jackhammer, done.
Move,
like, keep doing that. Like, we don't want to see any 10, 15 minute long matches. We don't want to see that Undertaker thing ever again.
Clip this when the Roman Reigns match goes 20.
This is true, but hopefully they've learned the lesson from that. And at the end of the day, don't blame Goldberg. He's just doing what he's told.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not his fault.
He's just an old fella doing bits, man. If I was 53 years old and getting shots like that, I would Scrooge McDuck the hell out 100%. Of that opportunity.
He's just literally there. All he wants to do is entertain the fans. Exactly. So give him a bit of a push.
Smiles on faces and be a superhero to his son, just like last time.
Hopefully he doesn't bring his son and like make him take his shirt off again.
No, that was strange.
We can do without that.
Please don't do that again, Goldie, you weird man. But I mean, that Roman Reigns match, like, if they do what you just said and just do big move, that could be really good.
Spear versus spear.
Yeah,
as long as they don't do it at the same time.
And like concuss. Goldberg's done enough of that. He's done enough of that recently. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the backstage viewership. This is something of a correction. So earlier this week, we took a story from Showbuzz Daily, who provides the ratings information for United States television. They upload it to the website. Very useful source. Usually very on the money. Not this week. So we reported a viewership using their data of 18,000 people for Backstage. And when I was reporting this with Mr. Wilborn, I sat with him and I said, sorry, this looks like a goddamn typo. It wasn't a typo, but that was the number for the replay at 2 a.m. So at the regular 11 p.m. slot, Backstage actually did 56,000, which is still crap.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was expecting like maybe 180,000.
Yeah.
No, just 56.
No, 56k. So Fox actually reached out to lordsofpain.net, who reported the number as well, the 18k, using the Showbuzz data, and said, hey, you're wrong. This is the right number. So obviously Showbuzz, bit of a mix-up there, but you know, if we're going to report the original one, we have to come on and do the correction as well.
Yep.
This is still barely over the lowest viewership in the show's history. It did 49k for its first episode. This is the lowest one since then. This is a significant fall in the previous week for the Bella Twins. It's all because of that politics thing with Democrats and elections and
Bloody
stuff.
politics.
Damn you, politics, ruining the Backstage view.
Stop watching your politics. Watch more wrestling.
Watch Backstage. But if you look at like the top 5 cable shows actually for the night, it's all the super thing, the White House stuff, and then a basketball game. So yeah, Backstage never stood a chance. Wasn't even in the top 150. Who watches this show?
At least you've corrected it, eh? Never say we don't correct our mistakes.
Hey, exactly, man. You know, my favorite game to play every week on WhatCulture is, will the Backstage viewership be higher than the number of clicks that Michael Hamflett's Ups and Downs article gets? And believe it or not, most weeks, Hamflett wins. More people read the article than watch the show. It's just,
brilliant.
It's a nightmare. Anyway, we could probably wrap this up now.
Yeah, I think we're done.
This crap's gone off the rails. Thank you for joining us for this Good Afternoon thing. You can follow us on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Hashtag This Is The News. Hashtag Good Afternoon. Send us your questions. Just realised we haven't done any. Very sorry about that.
It's the afternoon news.
Hey, yeah, you know. Yeah. You can follow Philip on Twitter at
Fill My Chambers.
You can follow me on Twitter at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Hugh, Pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble and Grub. And I know the first one's actually Pew. It's Pew. Trumpton. They don't know, they're American.
Made it work. Yeah. They don't know what Trumpton is. Donald Trump bought a town and created this place.
Little puppet fellas. Firemen.
That's what he does in his evenings to relax.
Do
you love Donald Trump? Yes, I love Donald Trump. We should probably end it.
And that's as deep as our political commentary gets. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, here to let you know we want your live event videos, whether that be something that happened after the cameras stopped rolling, or your reaction to something amazing that went down at the show you were at. Stuff like this.
One of the other sweetest things I've ever seen was just recently when we saw Roman Reigns kick the shit out of cancer and come back on Monday Night Raw.
So make sure you send them to us in all the usual ways. You can tweet them at us, you can send them to us on Facebook, you can email them to us. Hell, if it's your sort of thing, you can stick them on a memory stick and post them to WhatCulture. But the one thing you need to remember is good, bad. Thanks for watching. Bye.